Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and today we're going to review the, of course, first part of the Series 12 finale, of course, Ascension of the Cybermen. And with this being the first part of the story, it's really hard to review some parts of it because, of course, we don't know where they're heading. With all the questions that is still kind of present in the story, it's like, well, what's going to happen? Of course, we don't know that yet. And it makes reviewing this episode quite difficult because a lot of the weak points are just because they're unanswered questions, but that's mostly because we don't know those answers yet. So I'm just going to basically address one of the biggest examples, of course, is this Brendan side story that they have in this episode, which is a very weird turn, I would say, in this Doctor episode. You know, you got the aftermath of the cyber wars, human survivors, and then you get this quaint little story, it seems, but there's some weird things happening. Of course, Brendan is basically, we first meet him as a baby when he's just left in the middle of the road. A man finds him, and they have soon adopt him. We then see his life kind of progress with this family, him become into the police force, and then, of course, he retires. But with this story, there's two very odd things that happen. One of them being, well, he was basically trying to stop someone. Near a cliff, he fell off that cliff after being shot, and he survived. He just woke up. No problem at all. Of course, that's a little bit weird because, of course, he was shot, fell off a cliff. He probably wouldn't be alive. And the second one is when he does retire, he basically walks out. Two very similar looking people meet him and stop him, and then they take him to a room inside the police station, put some probe and shock him. And that's the end of Brendan's story in this episode. So it really brings up the question of who is this character? What is their significance for this? And just a weird detour. I don't think this is a bad element to add to this story, but it just it at least took me out of the story sometimes, at least in the various parts. But I was really drawn into it when those weird things happened to him. But besides that, it's like, why was this? I just want to know why this was added. And I think once we know it, I'll be looking at this like, okay, that makes sense. It's a weird element you added in this story because, of course, we have no idea who this character is. Story, of course. One thing I can say is one of the highlights in this episode was Graham and Yaz. When they were separated from the Doctor in the story, I think their performance was amazing. You kind of just see they're trying to help these people, and they're also taking very much like the leadership role to help them out because, of course, the Cybermen are right around the corner, quite literally. Now, of course, I also think Jodie Whittaker did a really good performance. You can also see that she just wants to protect these humans, is there to protect, and you can just see that kind of reflect to her companions when she's like, no, go. I need you to go. She feels safer when they're not near the Cybermen because that basically decreases the harm that the Cybermen can cause to them. Now, of course, though, even with her best abilities, they're no match for cyber drones. Yes, cyber drones. Which honestly are a pretty cool idea, I won't lie. Just seeing these Cybermen heads fly right through and destroy everything. Which is always very kind of cool and very Cybermen-like. Now, of course, this is where basically the Doctor and Ryan are over here, and then Yaz and Graham are separated, basically. So basically, we now have two stories kind of folding out. So basically, the Doctor and Ryan are going to go to this planet boundary. It's kind of like a boundary where a lot of human refugees were sent through. Of course, the ship that they originally left the main planet, Graham and Ryan and the other humans, well, it doesn't quite work out, and they land on a ship. That ship is filled with Cybermen. Probably not the best of places to be, a ship full of Cybermen. But also there are some new Cybermen designs. Of course, we do have the main kind of enemy in the story is, of course, the lone Cyberman, which we met last week. He's kind of just, of course, trying to rebuild the Cybermen Empire. And, of course, he finds that in the ship, and he basically activates all of them, and the Cybermen are starting to march ever so closer to the companions. And I really like these new Cybermen designs. They definitely seem very classic Who meets revived Who, which I really like. And it'll be very interesting to see all this kind of what these Cybermen are going to do in the finale, what is their role in there. And also, basically on the other side, the Doctor sees Gallifrey. And come right through it is the Master. and he has a warning for the Doctor. It was a really good episode of Doctor Who. It was very well paced. It had a lot of questions that still need to be answered. It'll be very interesting to see how this all kind of connects with the lone Cybermen, the Cybermen army, the Timeless Child, Gallifrey. It'll be very interesting to see if this can all be kind of wrapped up next week. It'll be very interesting to see. But overall, I find this a very decent episode of Doctor Who. It definitely was. I really do enjoy the new Cybermen design. Some great moments with the companions this week, and of course, some more mystery added. And it'll be very interesting to see how it all concludes next week. Now, I would definitely give this story, right now, it's about an 8 out of 10. It was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed it, but tell me your guys' thoughts on this episode in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.